What's up, it's me, D.W.C, and welcome back to another MLB The Show video on my channel. Today we're going to be doing something that I thought would be pretty fun to do. We are going to be simulating 10 seasons into the future and see what the MLB will be looking like at that point. Obviously based off of the video game, not real life, because real life could be completely different, but based off of this video game, we're going to simulate 10 years into the future and see what the MLB is going to look like. So first things first, we got to select our team. It's going to be completely random, so I'm just going to scroll through and we're going to stop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're taking over the Yankees, I guess. As a Red Sox fan, I don't really like that, but that's who we landed on. GM contracts we're going to turn off, and then I'm going to set everything to auto manage so we can just fly through this. And we're going to hop into the regular season. So what we're going to do is we are going to simulate 10 full seasons. So we will be up until the year 2030. So we're going to see what the MLB looks like in the year 2030. I will take notes of every major award. So NL and AL Cy Young and MVP for each season. World Series winners, Rookie of the Years. I'll jot them all down. Update you when we get to the year 2030. So without further ado, I'm going to hop on into the simulation and I will see you in 2030. Okay, so we are back. We are in spring training of 2030, 10 years in the future. And we are going to go through every MLB team. I'm pretty sure the entire MLB is completely different. I'm going to be more surprised if there's players still with their original teams than I will be with any player in a different organization. But we're going to quickly run through all the awards. I stopped tracking the Rookie of the Years and relievers at some point if they were generated guys and I didn't know them. So 2020, we'll start with the American League. Cy Young was Chris Sale. Reliever was Roberto Osuna. MVP was Yordan Alvarez. And Rookie of the Year was Dom T. Williams for Seattle. In the National League, we have Clayton Kershaw winning the Cy Young, Chris Bryant winning MVP, Zach Brown winning Rookie of the Year for Milwaukee, and David Robertson winning Reliever of the Year. Then 2021, we have JD Martinez winning MVP in the American League, Shane Bieber winning the Cy Young, Colin McHugh winning Reliever of the Year, which was pretty surprising, and then Jordan Balazovic winning Rookie of the Year for the Twins. National League, we have Betts getting the MVP, Buehler winning Cy Young, Giovanni Gallegos winning Reliever of the Year, and Wang Hyun Kim winning Rookie of the Year for the Cardinals. Then 2022, we have Garrett Cole winning MVP and Cy Young, so he had a very, very good year. Susugo winning Rookie of the Year for the Rays that year, and Buttrey winning Reliever of the Year. In the National League, we have Bellinger getting the MVP, Paddock winning Cy Young, Kenley Jansen winning Reliever of the Year, and Hal Shields winning Rookie of the Year for the Padres. Then in 2023, we have Yordan Alvarez winning MVP for the second time. Brendan McKay won Cy Young for the Rays. Ken Giles won Reliever of the Year, and Tanner Tully won Rookie of the Year for Cleveland. And then in the National League, Pete Alonso won MVP. Jacob deGrom won Cy Young, so two major awards there for the Mets. Michael Lorenzen won Reliever of the Year, and Will Craig won Rookie of the Year. 2024, we have Alex Bregman winning the MVP in the American League, Lucas Giolito winning the Cy Young, Taylor Rogers winning Reliever of the Year, and Francisco Morales winning Rookie of the Year for the Astros. In the National League, we have Aaron Nola winning MVP and Cy Young. So the second time we've seen a pitcher do that. Aaron Hicks winning Reliever of the Year, and Joe Meyer for the Braves winning Rookie of the Year. Then 2025, I believe we're up to. We have Gleyber Torres winning AL MVP, Luis Castillo winning AL Cy Young, so we already know he ended up in the American League. Tim Maiza winning Reliever of the Year, and Jake Gatewood winning Rookie of the Year for Detroit. Yelich won the MVP in the National League. Nola won his second straight Cy Young. Yoan Lopez won Reliever of the Year. And Brett Beatty of the Mets won Rookie of the Year. Then 2026, I believe this is, Yordan Alvarez won another MVP, so that's number 3. Shane Bieber won his second Cy Young. I think I might have skipped him for 2021. I'm not sure. I don't remember reading his name, but this is a long list. So, second Cy Young for Shane Bieber. Yelich won MVP for the second year in a row in the National League. Paddock won his first Cy Young. Nope, sorry, his second Cy Young. And Maranta won Reliever of the Year. 2027, Nomar Mazara won MVP in the American League, and Luis Castillo won his second Cy Young. Corey Seager won MVP in the National League. Chris Paddock won his third Cy Young. Osuna won Reliever of the Year. And Grant Levine was Rookie of the Year for the Rockies. I mentioned him because he's a prospect that I actually know. Then 2028, Luis Castillo won Cy Young. Austin Meadows won the MVP in the American League. Josh Hader won Reliever of the Year. In the National League, Tatis won MVP. Tim Cate won Cy Young. And Tyler Mahle won Reliever of the Year. And then finally, 2029, Eloy Jimenez won MVP. Daniel Espino won Cy Young. National League, Bo Bichette wins MVP. And Dylan Cease wins the Cy Young. Your World Series winners for 2020, it was the Reds defeating the Red Sox. For 2021, the Dodgers defeat the A's. 2022, the Cubs beat the Twins. 2023, the Astros defeat the Dodgers. 2024, the Rays defeat the Nationals. 2025, the Dodgers win their second World Series of this simulation. 2026, the Twins win. 2027, the Rays win again. 2028, the Twins win their second one. And 2029, the Angels win. Hall of Fame inductees, we have Robinson Cano, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, Clayton Kershaw, J.D. Martinez, Paul Goldschmidt, and Mike Trout. So we are going to go through the rosters right now and see if anyone is still on their original teams, starting in Baltimore. So Baltimore looks like this. They have a 95, 87, 86, 85, and 80 as their top 5 starting pitchers. Their bullpen looks pretty good. 4 guys 80 plus. They have a very good closer. It's easy to get closers in this year's game through the draft. Adley Rutschman is still with the Orioles. He has played a few seasons at this point. Obviously, he broke in 2021, so he's 9 years in this season. His stats are not that great, but he is a catcher, so you're not looking for all too much production from your catcher. They have Frank Schwindel at first, Tyler Callahan, 86 overall, 89 overall third baseman. Richie Martin, I think he's still here, so he's been here the entire time. They have Vince Vizcaino, Steven Duggar, and Kani Yashimita. The Red Sox, their top players are Tristan Cassis, so he's been there the entire time with the Red Sox. Looks like he's had a very productive career so far from what he's played. Seems like he missed a lot of time with injuries, but when he has played, especially these last 3 seasons, he's been very, very good. Then they have David Peterson, Carter Kieboom, Darwinzon Hernandez, who's still there. He started off with them, and then he went to the Yankees, and then went back to the Red Sox. Monte Harrison of the Marlins actually got pretty good. Gavin Lux is there. Willie Adames is there. Verdugo is still there, down to B potential now. Only hit 177 home runs. He hasn't had that great of a career in Boston. Lucas Giolito, we've seen, won a Cy Young. Overall, he's been on and off. Moving on to the next team, Jason Dominguez is still with the Yankees. So far, he's pretty deep into his career now. He's 27 years old. He starts off 17 years old. Austin Meadows is with the Yankees. He's had a very good career, almost 400 home runs. Will Schultz, Josh Naylor, John Duplantier, Sean Newcomb. And that looks like all the notable names right there. We'll see if anyone else is still here. No, doesn't look like it. And then we have Benintendi with the Rays. Vidal Brujan is still with the Rays. Julio Urias is now with the Rays. Tyler Glasnow and Jose Alvarado are still with the Rays. Jake Faria went back to the Rays. Brent Honeywell Jr. still with the Rays. Moving on, we have Yordan Alvarez with the Blue Jays. Vladdy still with the Blue Jays. Xavier Edwards went to the Blue Jays. Diego Amaya, Barreto. Nate Pearson is still with the Blue Jays. Ian Happ is there. And Jacob Wajispek is still there. Jan Makata is still with the White Sox. Taylor Trammell's there. White Sox aren't looking too great, honestly. Indians have Daniel Espino, who I guess was a draft pick, turned out to be very good. I'm not sure if he was a prospect to begin with. They have Kyle Tucker, Griffin Canning, Jesus Luzardo, Ethan Hankins, Max Fried. That rotation is filthy. Absolutely filthy. Tristan McKenzie's still there. Look at this rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a sick 5. That is absolutely disgusting. Casey Mize is still with the Tigers. Franklin Perez is still with the Tigers. Jake Rogers is still with the Tigers. That looks like it's about it. Michael Kopech is now with the Royals. Keibert Ruiz is still with the Royals. No, he was a Dodger, but he played his entire career with Kansas City, so I believe he got traded there. I'm not sure, but either way, he is with the Royals, and that looks like it's about it. Scott Kingery's there. Twins have this guy who's a draft pick, O'Neal Cruz. Krylov is still there. Nick Solak. Belazovic is still there. Luis Thorpe is still there. Willie Calhoun is there now. And the Angels have Sheldon Luis. Got really good. Josh Hader. Matt Thaiss is still there. Played his whole career with the Angels up to this point. And that looks like about it. Jose Suarez is still there. Spent a lot of time not in the league. Gallen and then Gleyber Torres came to the Angels midway through his career pretty much. Robert Poisson is the top player for the Athletics. Brito Mazzara is with the Athletics. Nolevi Marte is with the Athletics. Manny Machado is now with the Athletics at 37 years old. James Caprillion, I believe, has been with the Athletics the entire time. Other than that, Ramon Laureano. Other than that, I don't really see anyone else. Cesar Torres Jr. is with the Mariners still, along with Nick Pratto and Brian Riccotto. Brady Singer's there. Jared Kelenic is still with the Mariners at 30 years old. Looks like he's had a very okay career so far. I was looking at RBI. I thought he was going to be very good. But he's been good so far. Been solid. Nothing too crazy. Mookie Betts is a Mariner at 37 years old. He's been there for one season. And that's about it. That's all I really see here. Evan White is still there. Texas Rangers, you got Tariq Skubal from the Tigers is now over here. Sixto Sanchez is here. Luis Robert is here. So it looks like the Rangers did not hold on to many players from their team other than Cole Winn and Julio Pablo Martinez. Astros still have Forrest Whitley. They still have Bregman. They still have Correa. They still have Francisco Morales. They have Alex Reyes now. They brought in Clint Frazier. Elvis Luciano got pretty good after a long time. He's 30 years old now. He was 18, I believe, at the start of this. Corey Seager is with the Braves. Royce Lewis is with the Braves, so they got two shortstops. I would assume they're playing one of them at second base or third base, although they do have a good third baseman and a good second baseman, so I'm not really sure what they have done with their roster. But I don't really see any players that are a part of this Braves team that started as a part of this Braves team. Austin Riley is the only one down here. And I think Ian Anderson was. Yeah, so those seem to be the only two main contributors that are still a part of this Braves team. They've made a lot of moves. They still have some really good players, though. The Marlins are looking pretty good in 2030 with Kyle Isbell, Dylan Cease, Jesus Sanchez, who is one of their homegrown players. Encarnacion is one of their homegrown players. Isan Diaz is one of their homegrown players. Sandy Alcantara, 34 years old, is one of their homegrown players. Joey Gallo is there now. So they look like they have a pretty solid team. The Nationals have Victor Robles still, who is up to a 97 overall now. He's been pretty good so far in his career. Tim Cate was a prospect, has been very good. Other than that, I don't see anyone. Juan Soto's still there. He's still only 31 years old, which is crazy. He was on their team when we started it. He's still only 31 years old. He is starting to regress already at 31 down to 84 overall, which is kind of weird. He's almost at 400 home runs. he's not going to get anywhere near 3,000 hits. I don't know why he's fallen off so much. Like, as good of a hitter as Juan Soto is, you'd think he'd still have like 6 more years of his career left, but I guess not. Luis Severino's there. Tatis Jr. is on the Mets with Ronnie Mauricio. Chris Paddock is on the Mets with Dom Smith, who actually got traded away at one point, I believe, but is now back. Yeah, he was with the Angels for a while, but he came back to the Mets. Then you have anybody else still on this Mets team? No, Syndergaard's still there. He's been there his entire career. Nope, I lied. He went to Kansas City for 2 years and then came back. Okay, I had just assumed he was there his entire career, but he actually moved away for 2 seasons and then came back to New York. Phillies, do the Phillies still have anyone? They still have Aaron Nola. I'm not sure if Nolan Jones, yes, he is a Philly. No, he was an Indian, my bad. Francisco Mejia, I'm not sure if they have anyone who's still been here the whole time. I don't see anyone. The Cubs have Bobby Witt Jr., De La Torre, Cole Stewart, Fernando Romero, Sean Reed Foley. I'm not noticing any names that I associate with the Cubs. It looks like they pretty much have an entire new team. Dustin May is on the Reds. Started off with the Dodgers for a good chunk of his career, and now he is with the Reds for the last while. Bellinger's with the Reds, so that's 2 Dodgers here. Joe Adell with the Reds, Brandon Waddell, Tyler Mahle. Nick Senzel is still here. And that seems like about it. Lucas Sims is still here, I think. He was a Red. Yes, he was. Wander Franco is with the Brewers. Keston Hiura is still with the Brewers. He has had a very solid career up to this point. Freddie Peralta is still with the Brewers. Luis Urias is still with the Brewers. And that seems like all that I recognize. Now we have Bo Bichette is with the Pirates now. Devi Garcia is with the Pirates. Cesar Sanchez is with the Pirates. Carlos Rodon. I don't recognize any names that I associate with the Pirates here, so we're going to move on. Shohei Ohtani is with the Cardinals now. He spent a while with the White Sox, a long time at the start of his career, obviously with the Angels. Now this is his first year with the Cardinals. They have Hunter Green. Dylan Carlson, I believe, was a Cardinal. Yes. And other than that, I'm not noticing anybody. Brendan Rodgers is with the Diamondbacks. Dansby Swanson's with the Diamondbacks. Seth Beer went to the Diamondbacks. Grant Levine is only 30 years old now, 96 overall, so he's starting to get into the good years of his career. He's had 2 solid seasons. He came into the league very late, actually, so he's going to have to put up some really good numbers over the next few years if he wants to get anywhere near the Hall of Fame. Brendan McKay is here. Alec Boehm is here. Is there anyone that we recognize for the Rockies? Dom Nunez seems to be the only one. Walker Buehler is still with the Dodgers. Kristen Pache is with the Dodgers. Nate Lowe, Brusdar Graterol is still with the Dodgers. Jose Barrios is here with the Dodgers, and I don't really see anyone else. Nick Gordon is here. Adrian Morejon is still with the Padres. Eloy Jimenez is with the Padres now. Jacob Amaya is here. Mackenzie Gore is still with the Padres. Travis Swaggerty, I believe, was a Padre. Yes, he was, and he's still here. Roberto Osino's here. Ozzy Albies is here. And Cal Quantrill is still here. Doesn't look like he ever got to the point that he was supposed to. He did have a few good years, but he's 34 years old now and starting to fall back off. That seems like it for the Padres. And our final team is the San Francisco Giants. C.J. Abrams. Emmanuel Clase was a Indian, obviously. He is here now. Ronald Acuna Jr. is now with the Giants. Jesus Castillo. Logan Webb, I believe, was with the Giants the entire time. Yes, he was. Franmil Reyes is a Giant now. Touki Toussaint. And that seems like it. So that is how the MLB looks in the year 2030, at least in this version of reality. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, just taking a step into the future. But that'll do it for this one, and I will see you soon with some more MLB The Show content.